Hello and welcome, and hello again to yet another episode of the original Donkeykast with me, Justin Kalaki, and
Me, Derek Conkle. And hello again.
all right, here we go, another episode. It's been what, about a week?
Yeah, probably.
We should probably start doing these weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe we should do it every Wednesday. How about?
All right.
Okay, and we should
Live planning.
yeah, we should maybe figure out other things to do other other times maybe.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what I found out? Um I forget where I heard it. It doesn't matter anyway. But when you stream to Beam, you know Beam? Or no, not Beam, it became something else. Mixer, I think it is it's called now. When you stream to Mixer,
yeah.
the like the lag is almost non-existent.
Oh. Hmm.
So
Like streaming the video too?
yeah, like when you stream a game.
Cool. Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
so then like I wonder like if like I was, since you don't have a computer, if I was playing a game and
Yeah.
you
I was just streaming.
were, yeah, and you were watching it and on a like a Discord channel so that we could hear
Yeah.
your voice. I'm thinking we could maybe do, me playing a game and us both talking. That could be fun.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately we'd both be playing, but whatever.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
You got a job, right? Or
No.
probably?
Maybe. Yeah. I go in Friday to discuss schedules, training, and job shadowing, which to me sounds like I have a job without being told I have a job
Yeah.
that day and get hired or whatever.
Yeah, sounds like I don't know what the
Yeah,
hell else that would mean.
hopefully.
That'd be pretty fucking weird if you have a job from that.
Well, I think a lot of it is it's kind of dependent on because it's after school classes for kids, and it has to do with the classes that I teach and kids choosing to take them, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
if nobody signs up for it, then I don't have a job. So it's also kind of dependent on what the kids are into,
Mm-hmm.
weirdly. So
Huh.
I think that's
Yeah.
probably why they won't just say like, you have a job. It's just like, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll keep working toward it and go from there.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Sounds like a
Yeah,
job.
I'm like,
Yeah, that's cool.
ideally, if everything goes as planned, when people ask me what I do for a living, I'll be able to say Legos and Minecraft. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Nice. Nice. I actually I don't even know how to word this, but like I got hired on as a writer to the Hard Times a couple weeks ago.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I haven't had an article published yet, but one I sent one in that will be. He told me like a week or
Nice.
two. It was like a week ago. So
Sweet.
we'll see. It was like,
Did they have like a,
what was that?
oh, keep going, sorry. I cut
No,
it
you
out.
do it.
Well, I was just gonna ask, did they like have an opening that you applied for, or did they find your stuff or something?
Well, I forgot why I applied. Um, okay. So Raghav told me that I could apply to them. So I did.
Oh, okay.
Then he talked to, Ian Fishman.
Yeah.
Yeah. He talked to him and he said he should go through him. Then so and he told Ian that I had applied. I didn't hear anything back
Mm,
when I applied.
sure.
But then he told me to talk to Ian, and I talked to Ian, and I gave him my list of what I submitted. He's like, "Yeah, a lot of the like they're funny, but a lot of these are like things that they don't do there."
Oh yeah.
because I'm not like, I mean, I see high times or not high times, the hard times. I see hard times articles a lot, but yeah, I'm not like super familiar with all of their format. And yeah, he kind of helped me figure out like 10 headlines to submit, and yeah,
Cool.
and now I'm in this like pitch group, right? There's like this
Yeah.
Facebook pitch group, and you pitch headlines. And then like the headlines that get the most likes are the ones that they use,
Yeah.
which is kind of a good idea.
Yeah, totally.
I should steal it for the trash can. But which I haven't been doing since I got hired to that. I just because they like own or something the pitches you make,
Oh, got it.
basically. But they're not going to use like I've pitched like 10, and they haven't like I think the most likes I've gotten is like 4.
Hmm. So they keep the can they do that? They keep the pitches?
Well, I feel like if I wait like a month
Yeah.
and nobody says anything, I feel like I could just fucking use it. But
Yeah, because I've heard that with multiple people who they're gonna write it regardless. It's just where it goes. That's why I'm like, oh, they own it. That's weird because I've heard of people doing that with onion stuff where they're like, it didn't work there, so I just wrote it myself and did. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm
That seems
definitely
weird.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna just like I'll wait a little bit just to be sure. But like if I post something and I get 0 and I think it's good, I'm gonna fucking write a thing.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But I wrote one so far that they it was in my original submission.
Yeah.
And it, honestly, like in my opinion, it's like one of the weakest ones.
Oh, really?
But you know, I'm not right. Like I'm not saying I'm right,
Right.
but yeah. It's what is it? It's VH1 having difficulty finding people that remember the 20s. And that's the one I wrote up for
Yeah,
them.
it's pretty good, but very mild for what I would expect from you.
Yeah. Very mild for me. And
Yeah.
I thought the hard times would kind of be like they like the hardcore stuff, but
Uh,
I don't know. They haven't been so much into the hardcore stuff.
yeah.
Well, or they just weren't funny. What do I know? I don't know. I'm so hit and miss. I feel like the longer I don't do stand up, honestly, I feel like I'm getting further away from what people I know people like, and I should probably get back into stand up.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
It's like you have the immediate sense writing it where you're just like, it'll work basically when you're in that
Mhm.
zone, when you got the flow down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get that.
It really, yeah. Yeah, I definitely gotta get back into stand up.
At the very least, it's good to have done that because I look back on stuff I wrote before ever doing stand up,
Oh, absolutely.
and
Oh,
obviously it's all old, so it's going to be bad regardless. But it's like, man, my standards, I didn't quite comprehend. Like, you really have to understand that people are going to rip your shit apart and hate it. Default. That's the default is they hate it. So you really got to
yeah,
convince them.
yeah. No, absolutely. And I mean, it's not like we aren't the same way either.
Oh yeah, totally. That's I think why I realized it is like in the stand up thing, I would be tough audiences who I thought were judgmental or whatever starting
Mhm.
out. And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, no, no, no. This is just how it is. You go sit in silence when jokes are happening that you don't laugh at, and it's fine.
Yeah.
There's no
And it's like,
judgment. You're just like, eh.
yeah. And it's like, and sometimes you think like, if Louis C.K. did that joke, it would get
Yeah.
laughs. And you're right,
Yep.
but nobody knows who you are,
Yep.
so they're not affording you any credit.
Yep.
So like, yeah,
You really
it's
got to prove yourself in the first 10 seconds or you're fucked.
yeah, absolutely, and that's good. That's good for
Yeah,
when you're starting out.
yeah, totally. And that's what you want. That's what makes you way better. Like it makes you unstoppable because you have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah. I get like I know you don't post a lot to like Facebook and Twitter like a ton, but like I always get like these messages from like strangers that are like, "You're so like I love your posts and stuff," and it's like you never like anything I put up. Like they'll send me a message that says that, and it's like just like it. You don't have to send me a message when you tell me you
Right.
like me. Give me the credit there in public. What are you doing?
Totally. And it's like the deep that's the way we've all agreed. This is how you show the approval to the thing as a
Yeah,
society. I've
absolutely.
had people comment too and say things are great. Where you're like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you didn't do any of the two things that show that. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of not laughing but saying that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But God bless him anyway.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
They're not complimenting us in the right way. Fuck them.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like a lot of people um really like I got a lot of blocks and a lot of like like just people unfriending me like when the election was happening and I'd make any joke about anything that wasn't Trump.
Yeah.
And it's like and I'd always get these posts like oh you support Trump. It's like no, I'm just making fun of someone else right now.
Yeah.
Like
Everyone can be made fun of.
yeah,
Literally.
absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone can be made fun of. And it's I make fun of my side of the argument more than anything because that's the side I
Yeah.
understand the most.
Yeah, and you can see the hypocrisy of like the what the ideal they're shooting for and what they're living up to.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, yeah. It's like if you're on the side of something and you don't think there's something that's too extreme, you're the one that's wrong. Like you're the problem with that side, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm very liberal minded, but I can still see like stupid things liberals do.
Oh yeah.
Like
I think
freaking
if you can't, you should reevaluate your critical thinking. I don't know. You should think
yeah,
about what your own opinions are versus just going with whatever's happening. Because I feel like that happens a lot too. There's like a mass moving a direction, and everybody's just like, "All right,
yeah, it's bandwagon jumping, and it's just like,
yeah,
yeah, and it's like, no, I agree with you, but I don't agree with this. like,
yeah."
what was it? There was like some college that they were like linking hands and not letting white students in as like a protest. And it's like, you're just making white people angry. That doesn't mean anything.
Was it? I think that was just one day, though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But it was just
See,
like, you're trying to enrage people and you're shocked that they're enraged. And it's kind of like, I get what you're doing. I'm on your side technically. But it's like, and like it doesn't make me mad but it makes me say like what did you expect
sure.
like we like are you trying to teach people that were born in the late 80s and 90s that segregation was wrong because I think most of us agree like even the worst people I think for the most part agree
No,
okay
the
not the
worst
worst
people definitely don't. They want to kill
okay
those people.
you're right all right the top 10% of Mars don't agree. But some people are just
Yeah,
like, I'm just trying to go to school. Like, I'm with you guys. I don't know what's going on.
yeah.
Like,
But I feel like
get the
the
idea.
point is yeah, the point though is to draw attention to that, especially if it's just one day. If it's not continuing over and over again,
Yeah.
then it's just like it's a form of protest to raise the discussion. That's why I'm totally for it. They're not
I'm
trying to shut down a school forever. It's just
Right.
like, hey, you
It
need to
is
be
just
aware of your privilege here when
yeah,
you're
yeah,
coming in here. Make a choice, knowing full well what's actually happening instead of just continuing blindly down your path, you know?
yeah. No, it's like I understand it. I definitely. I mean, it's not like something I'm
Yeah,
upset about. It's just like
right.
I am. I feel like I'm flabbergasted that they're surprised that people were upset about it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess is my point.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think that it is just a protest. A protest, you know, it's but like
That's what
let's
literally what it's meant to do.
yeah. But let's
So
say
they
you
shouldn't
just
be surprised.
yeah, but let's say you're just a, you know, you're a kid that wanted to study that day and you're like, "Well, I guess I can't fucking do my work." And it's like it's not my fault I'm white. I've never I've never hurt anyone. Like I've lived the best life I can. It's just as much not my fault that I'm white as it is that. And it's like and it's not a traffic jam, you know. A trap that's like that's equal opportunity. You know what I mean? When you start targeting a specific race, I think that's a little weird. I
Um,
feel like
I
I
I totally get that. Like 20 years from now or something. Hopefully, when things are a little bit more
yeah.
even or something, when things are actually what we claim them to be.
Yeah.
But as it is now, whiteness is choice or not, like a privilege you have to at least comprehend. You may not have to like bring awareness of it into every waking minute
I feel like you
to
do
be a
kind of.
great person. Well, yeah, but I just mean like you have to know it. You have to like live it. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm trying to say. You have to have it be
Yeah.
your experience rather than a
Yeah.
weight you're thinking about.
Yeah. I just feel like this whole I feel like there's a lot of like this idea of well we went through this so you have to go through it and it's kind of like is that the world we want to live in or do we want to live in a world where nobody has to go through this ever, but it's also like you're not really going through it because it's a day. So I definitely get that argument,
Yeah.
but like I don't want to make like shitty crazy people angrier. Like,
Right.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I wouldn't like if I were doing that exact thing, I just wouldn't lock hands and I would say like you can go in, but just you got to understand what you're doing here.
Mhm.
Like you're you're borderline a scab crossing picket lines at that level. You're like
There you go.
you're
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah. That's a
you're
great
not comprehending what we're trying to achieve here. We're not.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like yeah, that's great. A scab crossing the picket line. Like if they have a like a no white day and it's like you could choose to go, but you know, you're not participating in this. You're kind
Yeah.
of being shitty by not it gives them an option to be with you. Like that idea,
And it
you know?
also and it doesn't raise a thing I'm that concerned about, but it doesn't raise a thing for those people to be reactive against.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I think
Yes.
is part of the point, to get a rise out of people. So maybe that's what it's for. But it is just
Yeah.
like the
But then it
people that
becomes this
hate are only ramping up their hate now,
yeah,
which
it makes this
you want
art
to,
sorry.
yeah.
It makes this
Well,
arms race
personally, I just see it as you want to suppress everything. You want to like deflate all of that stuff until we're
equal.
humanity, I guess.
Equal as we could be. Yeah.
But yeah, but I'm not on the front line, so I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
I
I
just
don't know what works.
it's just like when I like the people that would work on are people that are already liberal in my you know doesn't it seem like that like if you think about it like is that gonna turn people I hope it does.
That I mean, depending on how it's presented, it absolutely can. I don't know if you've seen the Newt Gingrich thing where he talked with Van Jones, and
Mm-mm.
he had like a Facebook video where Newt Gingrich was very like surprisingly truthful, like not covering things up, saying if you're white, you just don't know what it's like to grow up non-white. You don't know what they go through. You have
Yeah.
no idea.
Mm.
Like it's just by virtue of not being white, your life is harder. Like
Hmm.
you have more struggle.
I mean, at
So
least
the fact that Newt Gingrich is saying that
yeah.
gave me a lot of hope
Yeah.
because that guy's a monster, a
Yeah.
literal monster.
Absolutely. Yeah. While you said that, I was like, Newt Gingrich, that's that Republican dude, right?
Yeah, literally the guy. Not, I wouldn't say responsible, but you can trace all of the horrors of modern politics kind of back to him
Yeah. Yeah.
crossing a line and doing that whole impeachment thing.
Yeah, like him and Rush Limbaugh, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, but just that Newt Gingrich had all the power to do all that stuff in the House. That he was having affairs while he was impeaching somebody for doing that stuff.
That's fantastic.
So he's just like a shithead
Yeah.
doing whatever it takes politically, and he does that to this day. So for him to actually like take a reasonable stance on a very serious issue,
Yeah.
oh, okay, maybe it's not beyond repair.
Yeah, absolutely. Um yeah, maybe yeah, I don't know. Maybe that that like I don't have a problem with that demonstration. Like I think that they should be allowed to do it, but I also think that it's like kind of like are you trying to make enemies or are you trying to change minds sometimes?
Yeah,
Because like there's part of me that's like fuck those people, who cares? But then it's also like but there's still people, those are people in the world that we have to live with and we have to find a way to explain this to them in a way that won't make like getting a rise out of people. Like I don't feel like that's enough. That seems like the easiest possible thing to do. Like you can,
and
like
I
I get
think
a rise out of people every day. Like
yeah,
and
and it's
it's so
counterproductive.
easy. Yeah, it is. And it's so fucking
That's been
easy.
proven, in studies where they say like the more you argue with people, the more entrenched they get in their own beliefs
Yeah.
because all they're doing then is finding ways to back up whatever they're thinking because they're gonna believe what they're thinking. That's not changing.
Absolutely. And yeah. Like I'm not much better, but I try to watch like I don't know, I try to do what I can to like kind of see the conservative kind of point of view in ways that don't completely disgust me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
there's a woman that did a documentary about men's rights activists that I've loved. It was great.
What's it called? Do you know?
Oh, I bet if you look it up like men's right activists documentary, you could probably find it because it wasn't from that long ago. It was
Okay.
it was interesting and like I kind of started it thinking like I'm gonna turn this off after like 10 minutes because these people are pieces of shit. But like immediately it's just like the woman's a feminist
Mm.
and
Yeah,
she's
maybe I
interviewing these.
do know about this.
Yeah, I think it maybe was on, it was either on Hulu or Netflix.
Okay.
And the woman is a feminist interviewing all these men's right activists and like some of them are like there's like actually there's only like one guy I hated in it. Like because he kept making like these kind of like offhand jokes that it's just like, oh, you're just a shitty person. But
Yeah.
for the most part, it was a lot like I don't feel like if I get divorced from my wife, she should automatically get her children, like stuff like that. And it
Yeah.
was like that makes sense, and it's kind of like if people want equality, it shouldn't be like women and children off the boat first.
Right. And I think that is what modern feminism is, right? I mean, all feminism ultimately, but I just mean whatever we're in third wave or something. But
I feel like it's falling away from that. more than anything. I feel
Well,
like second wave was more about that, and now it feels like it's getting away from that. Like it now, it feels like tit for tack almost.
really, maybe it's just the people I know who are just like, what I hear a lot of times now is, um, don't treat me special. Don't put on kid gloves. Don't say, you know what I mean? I hear a lot of people
Absolutely.
say that, like, don't treat me like a princess. Treat me like any other person. Because
Yes.
that's what a lot of, those people who think they're being equal rights and then
Yeah.
treat women like you can't say anything or do anything and they're special angels that don't poop or fart. And
But like, yeah, but at the same time, they like go after anyone that attacks a like that like makes fun of a woman in any way, even if
who
it's like not in a sexual nature. I feel like sometimes, and it's also like, and you can't like you can't judge a whole movement on the actions of a few, of course, but like when the people are being the loudest, it's hard not to like
well, and if nobody else in there is doing anything about it.
yeah. But it's also like I feel like we judge conservatives on like the things that like Bill O'Reilly does or something like that. We kind of assume they're all like that in the same way they kind of assume where every feminist yelling at a rally or something like uh like there's this part of the men's right activist thing where she goes to a men's right activist rally. They're having a rally. They're not even like they're holding up signs, and what they're saying isn't like disgusting. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
they're not tearing women down. They're saying things like, I should have just as much a right to my children as women, or
Mm-hmm.
like, and
Yeah,
then there's like a feminist just screaming at them, not letting them talk, like just constantly, like literally screaming in their face. And it's just, and it's like, is that your Rush Limbaugh? Like, you know what I mean? Is
yeah.
that who they think of when they think of feminists? It's not who I think of when I think of feminists. Like when I saw her, I was like, I think that I don't like that woman. I don't like what she's like. You can't just scream at people and not let them talk. You have a conversation with them, but like, you know what I mean? Like is that their version of
Yeah, that they're drawing that. They're
conclusion about all of us?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and yeah, it's funny at the end of the. I'm not sure how much I like this fact, but then the documentary, the woman says that she's no longer a feminist.
That woman or the
The
person in
woman
charge?
making the documentary.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that just because the word itself is just like women have equal rights, right? Isn't that what the word
Yeah,
means?
I mean, yeah,
Regardless of the execution that some people are doing when they're claiming that, the word itself just means, I think women are people.
yeah. But
I'm
at the
not one
same
of
time,
those anymore. Fuck those.
but like at the same time, what does the word Nazi mean? It's not about what the word is supposed to mean. It's about what it became. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's a little bit different because they chose
Of
to be
course, of
Nazis.
course. I mean, I'm
It
using the
meant a
most
thing,
extreme example fucking possible. But yeah,
right?
like feminists haven't committed genocide. But like, yeah, it's yeah. It get anything could get polluted, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. And
Yeah,
like,
same thing with like I remember before men's rights activist was a phrase. I
yeah,
remember reading those old stories about, like the wife would abuse the husband, beat him up, and then he would call the cops and they would arrest him. You'd hear stuff about that where it's like they just
yeah,
um, treat men by default in certain situations as never as a victim or whatever like that. And they
mhm.
always treat women as a victim, which to me is that's feminism. You should
Yeah,
ultimately a feminist would say that. And I
yes,
think that's true.
Absolutely. Yeah,
It's just like
totally.
it's people are people. That's what the ideal we can hopefully get to.
Hmm.
The path to get there is maybe harder, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Mm. This is all coming from a point of privilege as a white guy,
for
cis
sure.
white
Well,
guy.
I mean, kind of. You're not cis. What
I'm cisgender, yeah. I'm gay, but that's different.
is it?
Cisgender is just you're the gender you're born with.
Oh,
You
right.
identify as
Right,
whatever
right,
you were.
right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get confused. That's another thing. That's one thing that that kind of drives me nuts sometimes is like when some like like 63-year-old guy refers to somebody by the wrong pronoun or something and somebody like jumps down their throat. It's like, man, he spent the first 37 years of his life not even knowing what that word means. Like, get
Yeah.
just correct him, cut him some slack.
Yeah.
Like one time I used the word transgendered instead of transgender, and someone was just like, "Hey, that's offensive, and you shouldn't say it like that." And I was like, "Oh, thanks," and that's
Hmm.
fine, and I don't do it
Yeah.
anymore.
Should do
And
that. That's
yeah,
I
I
totally
mean,
get it.
I didn't know. Like, I don't
Right.
know nobody knows everything. I don't know everything about straight people. I don't like. Not that there's much to know about us. We're pretty boring, but like,
Yeah. I totally
like, how much do you know about someone that isn't you? Like, how much? Like, you know what I mean? Like, life is hard.
yeah. I think that's the ideal is to be, polite to everybody, but I totally get it when you've lived a life being misgendered or being having to be a certain way and not being able to be who you are, and then the time comes where you're finally feeling like you can be whoever you are, and then people keep getting it wrong. I could see
Yes,
how that would wear on you.
absolutely, absolutely.
And
But
I would personally maybe blow up at people given certain circumstances.
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
yes, but
I
like,
might apologize personally after because I have done that. I've
right,
blown up at people for being what I viewed as homophobic, even though I'm like, I know this person isn't homophobic. They're just in this moment being a little callous with their words.
absolutely.
And then
Everyone has to learn.
yeah,
It's the people that refuse to learn that it's like fuck them. The people that are like, no, I'm gonna do what I want. Like people that are like, I'm gonna keep saying faggot. It's like, fuck you. What do you
yeah,
mean? You've been
yeah,
told that it hurts people. Like,
yeah. And then ultimately, you're just being a jerk. Like that's all it is. That's at least how I look at it. Is you don't hurt me, but just so you know, you're just an asshole.
yeah, yeah. Like, li- like this is probably the worst example of something I did, but when Grace Thompson or Thomas, Grace Thomas,
Yeah.
um, when he stopped being John, like
She,
she, I did it again, but when she stopped being John, I said, I literally said to her, "Hey man, that's cool, that's cool of you." And then I was immediately like, "Wow, I can't believe I just said, hey man, that's cool of you." And he just said, "Huh," or she just said, "Ha, that's funny." See, it's hard. I feel like it's hard to switch a gender of a person you already know, and it takes some getting used to. And I haven't seen her like in person since the change, and I'm constantly mixing that up. And like, like I don't have a problem with the change. It's just I'm a simple person that
I,
you
I,
set. I
yeah.
don't know, you get used to things, and it's hard to like switch like a light. Like even Grace's mother posts on Facebook and calls her John all the time. You know?
But I think that's deliberate.
Oh, really?
I don't know for sure, but I
No,
think at least I
she's cool. Like they're very close.
no, I don't mean I don't yeah, I don't mean she's like needling and being a terrible, but maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea. I don't know their family. Why the fuck am I talking about that?
No, I don't know
I
them
just
either. Yeah.
thought I had heard something in the past, but I'm probably wrong. It's no, I just love
There's
her
some people
because as long as I've known her, um, you knew, at least I was like, I don't know what it is, but I know that there's a you in there that wants to get out. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
when she announced it, I was, man, I loved it. I was like, oh, like
Well,
this makes me so happy that,
when she came
huh?
out, when she came out, or is that even the word?
Yeah, I don't know. I've even heard people saying we should even stop saying came out or closet
At
or any
all?
all that stuff, which
Huh.
I'm for in a certain sense, but also like you don't want to minimize if people are still in a closet and have to come out.
Yeah, it seems like a thing that you should acknowledge.
Yeah, celebrate.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, but yeah, for sure. When it comes to Grace, yeah, yeah, I always consider him more feminine than
Her.
male. Her, it's so hard because I haven't like
It's
been hanging out with her, and I only hung out with John. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
but
like it's just like my brain doesn't think of that when I'm talking, especially when I'm
right. I
drinking Red
just
Bull and
I think that's
vodka.
the practice. That's the practice though, right? Is thinking about what you're saying as you're saying it
Yeah.
and comprehending that like that's ultimately the goal with everything I think, at least with words.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Like
it's
I don't
it's
want
tricky. It's tricky for um it's tricky for people that don't have to think about that all the time. And it's a luxury.
yeah, totally. It's the privilege of not having to.
Yes. And I mean, yeah. I don't have to worry about it. Like I'm just a straight white dude for the most part. I don't
Yeah.
know. Or at least I could pass. um yeah, it's a weird tricky thing.
Which, by the way, anybody listening, check out Grace Thomas. She's great and hilarious.
Yeah, she is. Works for Clickhole now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty
Super exciting.
that's pretty dope.
Just watching, because I've, not that things are bad for me, but things are not on a trajectory that I would like.
I wouldn't know
So
what that's
it's,
like. Of a
so
North
it's fun living vicariously through people where you're like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm not jealous. I'm thrilled.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Like, you telling me you got that thing is like, fuck yeah. I
Oh,
don't care about myself. Who gives a
the
shit?
yeah. That's nothing. It won't amount to anything. Nobody likes any of my posts, so whatever. But maybe it'll make the same way stand up makes you better. Maybe that'll make me pitch better.
Yeah.
I never had a stand up version of making trash can articles, so maybe that's a good
Yeah.
thing. I mean, I'm constantly throwing shit at the wall. Most things don't get a lot of likes. Some things get quite a few. I before I post them, I couldn't tell you which would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a new. It's just like a new thing that's hard for some people. Like some people are shitty about it, and fuck them. But some people are just like set in their ways, and it's hard to change, especially for a straight white guy. Like yes, we should be held accountable, but I don't know. Like you don't want to make enemies, I guess is my point. Like if somebody got mad at me about using a pronoun wrong, I would apologize. I wouldn't get mad back at them, and then I would move. Because if I apologize and they're like, "No, fuck you," I'd be like, "All right, listen, I don't know what else I can do. I guess I won't talk to you anymore. Goodbye. Like I wasn't. I'm sorry I upset you. I don't know. I don't know. But
Yeah.
like it's just something I don't experience, so it's hard to. I'm doing my best. Um, and I don't know. I'm trying to respect your wishes, but sometimes I slip up because I'm stupid.
Yeah.
It's basically all you could say about it.
And I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I've had this experience where being gay, when people would do that, and I would say something and they wouldn't like. I've had people say, I won't say a name on the podcast, but I've had people say like, "You talking to me, I might stop saying faggot." And then I was like, "Oh, might. Okay, I just won't talk to you again. I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
not
Might.
I'm not invested in this. I'm just friendly. But if you're giving me a reason not to, well
Yeah.
then fuck, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I have nothing invested in this. I'm just
Yeah.
also here."
That's so like it's like people like the same age as me that say stuff like that just like completely baffle me because it's like I don't know, how could you not see that saying something like that is completely fucked up? like like that's like talking to like a black friend and saying like, I might stop calling people the N-word because we're friends. It's like if you
Yeah.
said that to someone, they would never talk to you again. Why do you expect a gay friend to ever talk to you again?
Yeah.
Like I still remember, like in middle school, I had a gay friend, and I used to say gay all the time, like everyone else in middle school. And one time,
Yeah.
I called something gay, and he said, "I don't know, it seems pretty straight to me." And I was just like, "Oh yeah, that's a pretty fucked up thing to say, isn't it? Like you're a gay person. I'm calling this thing I hate gay, like that, and I don't have a problem with gay people. So why am I doing this?" So I just
Right.
like I probably said gay like 12 more times after that, but I don't call things gay anymore unless
Right.
they're a person.
And that's probably the same thing where it was just a pattern of behavior. It's hard to divorce yourself from. It was like neuron pathways are built in. They're
Yeah.
going there, and you have to like actively steer away from them, or it's gonna happen. And it's only after it happens that you're like, "Oh fuck, I crossed that bridge again. I can't uncross it." So
Yeah,
shit.
absolutely. Absolutely. I was just watching Dan Harmon and I was watching a podcast with Dan Harmon, Bill Burr, and Jim Norton, right?
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah,
What
and
a weird group.
it was, yeah, it was kind of funny how they all kind of got along though.
Oh
And
yeah, totally.
yeah, and I like something Bill Burr, like I
Oh,
Giant Bomb's posting a video. Oh, the Super Mario Sunshine thing. Oh,
oh
nice.
yeah.
I'm gonna watch. All right, that's on in 8 minutes, so it'll really be on in 15 minutes. um. Oh, I was watching that podcast. It made me like I fucking hated that Louis C.K. scene, the poker scene, right? Where they were
Oh
like, where the gay dude explained,
yeah.
why you shouldn't say faggot and gay and stuff like that. Because I thought that I was like, everyone fucking knows that. Like, why are you like, what are you 12? And then like hearing Bill Burr say like that's what made me stop saying that because I hadn't like when he put it that way, I was like, oh, that's a shitty thing to do. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So that was for people that are Louis C.K.'s age.
Totally.
They're not
Yeah.
for people my age.
That was a
And
message.
and it kind of made me go, okay. I guess
And
I get why people love that so much now.
and that was based on a true thing. That guy actually said that. Like
Yeah.
in that setting it came up and that happened, so he wrote it in. And also, it's
Mhm.
not true. That thing he said is not true. That's not
What?
where the word comes from. Well, he said that the
Oh.
word faggot comes from a bundle of sticks to burn them or whatever. That's not what it's from.
Mhm. Oh yeah. What's it from?
No, it's from. I think it was like women would carry the bundle of sticks or something like that, so they would call men faggots because they were weak like women or something. So it was like sexist. There's like layers of how
Oh.
bad it is now. So it's also a sexist word. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. But yeah,
I
I mean,
think.
still though, like it's just like I don't know. It made me not hate that as much. Just hearing one person say that stopped me from saying that made me
Yep.
go, okay. Then it was
Yeah,
kind of worth it.
totally. That's one thing I do like about Louis and Bill Burr. Like those people, they appeal to a certain demographic, and they themselves as people have grown. Like
Yeah.
personally, they
Yeah.
have definitely grown.
Yeah.
So then to have them like share that with people and they can live vicariously. Like I listen to Bill Burr's podcast and he talks about baking and stuff like that, or at least he used to back when I listened to it,
Mhm.
which was very surprising. That Bill Burr's into baking,
Yeah.
but then to just have him be like he's owning it, he's telling everyone they should bake.
Mhm.
It's like he's getting mad at people for being shitty to him in the right way, where he's just like, you have no idea what you're talking about. It's good. You
Yeah.
have a bunch of good stuff, you know? I really like
Yeah.
that because it's like he's not who I would expect him to be off
Mhm.
stage that he is on stage, or at least, up until like whatever, 4 years ago when he maybe kind of
Yes.
blew up a little bit more and kind of became
Yeah. Like
like
once Louis
more.
C.K. became famous, like a lot of those guys like Doug Stanhope and him
Yeah.
kind of blew up in a way too.
Yeah.
And like they kind of blew up for the wrong reasons, but they're also not like there's something like they're brutally honest white males in like you know what I mean? Like in a weird and you kind of gotta respect that honesty because they're not like hiding. You know,
Yeah.
they're
And
not
they all
hiding their
admit,
prejudice. They're trying to like get through their prejudice.
right. They're trying to identify it and fix it ideally.
Yeah,
Personally, I think they're doing it a little, or at the very least with Louis C.K., he does it in a very privileged way, we'll say.
absolutely. But
I'm not
how
that I hate
how
Louis C.K., I like
how
him, but
how could he not at this point? Like, can you imagine being that famous and having that many people telling you you're right and that you're like perfect and just like that must be hard to self-reflect. Like I can't imagine
yes, yeah,
like I'm not giving him like
through the looking glass.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it must be hard. It's got to be hard to be that famous and then also be willing to change cuz being who you are got you that famous
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm
And who
not
who he
excusing
who he
it.
was is he uses a lot of words pretty cavalierly.
Yes. And like there's
Like that's
plenty I hate a lot of things he says,
yep,
but like when I try to see things his way, that's kind of how I see it where it's kind of like it's got to be hard to change as like a nearly 50-year-old that just became super famous.
yeah.
It's
But
got to be weird.
there was definitely a phase there where like all of those people were using the N word,
Mhm.
faggot. I can say that one. Other word, but using like slurs. Not
Yeah.
only not only like cavalierly, but deliberately to be offensive. Like that was the point, to be a shocking asshole. So I
Yeah.
personally judge that a lot
Yeah.
because when you
Oh,
watch
I
those old things and you're like,
absolutely.
man, he's like, do you understand what the N word means to people? Do you understand what hearing it can do? Just the mere act of hearing the word reinforces the way society acts toward a group of people, and it's fucking awful. And to
Yeah.
have an audience of people laughing, at least that's what I've had when you have people, you have like a crowd of people laughing at me getting called a faggot in this case, where it's like,
Yeah.
this feels like hyenas just waiting to eat me alive. That's how it feels.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I know what you're talking about. And yeah, that was a disgusting example where it's just like, what
Yeah, but
is
again,
wrong
I,
with
I love that guy. I'm not judging him.
but that's
He
a
was
shit
making a joke.
that's a shitty thing. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't excuse it, and he apologized. That's why I'm like,
I mean, but the
it is what
person
it
we're
is.
talking about says that word constantly in private conversation, like when you're not
Yeah.
around. Like
Okay.
like that's his favorite fucking word.
All right. Well, then never mind.
he he called me that like 5 times at least. But like it's just like
Yeah,
he said in
that's
his
why
way. I don't think I
you
don't
know,
I
I
don't think
left
he hates.
Minneapolis.
Yeah, right, right. I don't think he personally has a problem with gay people, but I don't think he gives a fuck.
Right, which is just as bad. When there's
Yeah. Yeah, in a way, yeah.
when
I
there's
mean, maybe not just as bad, but next level.
okay, maybe not now. Now
Because
it's
like
not just as bad. But when there
somebody like
was a time where it was the norm is doing that,
Mhm.
3 years ago, it literally wasn't that long ago. I know we like to think this is the way it's always been, but like
No,
man, look back at 2015. That's when
no.
marriage
Right.
like so this is very recent that all this happened.
Right.
Um so during all that time where it's like fighting for rights, trying to get treated like equal people, and you're on the wrong side of this, it to me it's just as bad. Like when there are people like struggling and you're in your position shitting on them deliberately for laughs.
Mhm.
Like
And
they're the target for no reason, that's bad.
yeah, when you're in a position of power, both with like your career and with your platform and who you are, like just like a normal person. I don't mean no, you know what I mean. Like you know, you got the best cards dealt to you as far as fitting in. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
it's just like use that to like to you. You're promoting hate,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
even if you
that's a
don't mean
better way of putting what I was trying to say. That you're their ideas that they're being awful about, you're like, they're right.
it.
That's all you're
Yeah,
doing. You're
yeah.
picking that side and telling everyone that side is the right side. And fuck all those people
Uh huh.
who are getting offended by these words.
if
I
I've
don't know.
if I've seen so many fucking people take a stage and try to explain why they should be able to say like gay or I feel uncomfortable saying FAGGOT honestly, but I don't know how to say it because if I say F word, you're just gonna think I'm saying fuck. I
Right.
don't know how to express it, but you know what I mean. If you like people that have a joke that's like I should be able to say this, like fuck those people.
Yeah. Unless it's a good joke that proves the opposite, which that's
Yes.
possible. Like I
Yeah.
had a joke where I would say faggot, and then on stage the audience would get silent because that was the point. Because
Mhm.
I'm gay and I kind of want to get that because they don't
Yeah.
know I'm gay.
Yeah.
And then I would say, whose dick does a guy gotta suck to say faggot around here? Which I think is like, I like that way back when. I wouldn't say it today. I don't like it now. But back when it was like a common thing, because then it went into it, transitioned to, right? Because faggot doesn't even mean gay anymore. It means like a jerk or an asshole or the sort of person who would say faggot.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
the whole point was to take this word I know you hate, and now whenever you hear this, hate, like
Hmm.
have this feeling, this reaction. When you're in your interpersonal relationships, shit, you need to respond. Because I've been around as a closeted gay, I've definitely been in situations where people say that thinking that I'm not, which is another thing
Hmm.
when people like when people say jokes about a group of people, they like look around to see if that group of people is around and then say it. And then they'll say it,
Yeah,
and then I'll be like, haha, I was here the whole time.
absolutely,
I heard it all. I know you're a
absolutely.
shithead.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like for that to happen is like that's my hopeful ideal is don't let that shit pass. Like that's
Mm.
it's so easy. I've been in a situation where a huge group of people and one person says fag, and I'm not gonna like start a thing. I'm just like,
Yeah,
you know what? I'm not gonna be the one to do this. I'm out. See ya. And I know
yeah,
for a fact that that guy says it all the time, and none of those people who hang out with him all the time have ever said anything. So then that's like the message is, hey, just have a little courage if you think it's shitty and they're your friends.
yes, yeah, yeah. And there's this weird like I get I kind of get that you're going for irony sometimes, but it's also like don't. Just don't anymore. Just it's not funny. It's not clever. It's like there's nothing special about it. You're normalizing the practice
Totally.
and it's shitty. Like I don't know. Like I think though I feel bad about this every day, but like I was very very drunk, okay? And I was at Galactic, right? And
Hmm.
it was me and Katzner and Earl Elliott and we were sitting at this table, and then this guy goes up stage, and he's the whitest guy you've ever seen. He has like pants pulled up to his like he's got like khaki pants pulled up to his navel. He's got glasses. He's got a button up shirt, and they're talking to each other. And I and I turn to him. I go, "You get a load of this the N word?" Except I didn't say N word. And they laughed really hard, but I wonder if secretly they hated that. Like,
Yeah.
I keep thinking back to that. Like, that was a bad thing to do. That was
Yeah.
incredibly rude. Because
Yeah.
I just
I,
like the idea
that's
of saying it to them instead of white people. I thought it would be funny. I
yeah.
mean, they both laughed, like, and they never said anything about it. But the same, like, I keep thinking afterwards. I'm like, I wonder if they were angry and or that could have went a lot differently and I would have been completely in the wrong and that's such a shitty thing. I just
Yeah.
wanted to be a shocking piece of shit. Like
Right.
and the guy was really white. Like it like I obviously the joke was clear, but it's just like that I should not have done that. And
Right.
I yeah, I
Is
feel bad about that all the time.
isn't that like I have that a lot where I cringe like I'll think of things I did or said on stage and cringe. Where you're just like, I did that publicly. I did that shit publicly. Like
Yeah.
I said the T word on stage one time. I was quoting somebody, but even that I look back on and I'm like, if there was anybody in
Yeah.
that audience who I just like farted on them, at minimum, I farted in their face.
Yeah.
Maximum, I shit all over them. You know what I mean? I made them feel awful
Yeah.
just by trying to go to a comedy show, like the place everyone should feel that catharsis, at least in my opinion,
Hmm.
to feel like a person and feel like you're part of a thing. That's the whole
Hmm.
point of comedy to me.
Yeah.
So I always look back on times where I like fell short of that because I was dumb and didn't understand what I wanted to do comedy for. I did it very selfishly, where you're like, I
I
need to
mean,
do this joke and this joke.
who doesn't stand in a stage unselfishly?
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you
Well,
mean.
there's part of it, but that was all it was to me. I never had like before I started working clubs, I think I didn't quite have that sense of like, hey, we're all in this together and I'm trying to alleviate your sorrows and bring you joy. And that's how I'm going to do the best at this is like bringing you on a journey instead of saying, fuck you.
Yeah.
You need to come with me and fuck off if you're not gonna. And I just hate that comedy. I see it a lot where people are comedians versus the audience, and they're typically shitheads who say stuff to be shocking and then get mad at the audience for being shocked. I see that a lot.
Yeah, that's a
And then
really annoying trope.
like really yell at them.
Yeah.
Somebody I know did that and then called the audience homos like right after.
Ugh.
And
Wait,
yeah, I lost all respect for that person. I used to like,
BE?
huh?
Is it BE?
I, I
Is
don't
that
know
who we're talking
who.
about? He owns a club, or he runs a club. It's underground.
Oh no.
Did you ever see his Acme set?
No,
Didn't we
but
used
I
to
believe.
watch that when we lived together?
Oh, I'm sure I did then. I don't know.
But
On
yeah,
YouTube, probably.
yes, it's on, or no, it's on Rooftop.
Oh, rooftop. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just like, ooh, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, from what I heard when I came out, supposedly, I don't know this for sure, but what he said was finally a gay person who will be cool with me saying faggot. That's what he said.
No,
That's what I heard.
what?
And then
Oh
and then somebody told me that, and I was like, "Ooh, don't be so sure." That's not true at all. And also,
no.
I'm never gonna hang out with that guy anymore.
No. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Fucking. Ugh.
It's yeah, it's all those people obviously who are in that crew who say that stuff. The people
I
who
hear,
are,
I hear they're just gone. I hear all those people are gone. Not
oh,
him
that's
because
good.
he runs that club, but
Yeah,
I hear like nobody comes out anymore. That's what Colin was telling me the other day.
that's good.
Yeah, that is good. Um, yeah, it's just fucking times change, and they should have
Yep.
changed a long time ago.
Yep.
It's yeah. I like how calling stuff gay or calling people gay has like become cuck now. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I hate it.
Everyone, yeah, it's just like whenever I see it, it's kind of like in like 5 years that's gonna be totally uncool.
Hmm.
Like you can like judging people for anything that they like that's not hurting people is uncool.
Yep.
Like how could you not see that? It's 2017.
Yeah. And like as the thing itself, at least, where like the idea of what that stands for is like you do realize that that's what they're going, like that's what they want.
Yes, yeah.
It's what they're
It,
into. So it's not an insult to them. So that being the case, you saying that to other people is like you're undercutting your whole thing, I guess. If you know
it's
what I mean.
Yeah, it's absolutely the same thing as saying gay because you don't call gay people gay. You don't say quit being so gay to a gay person, and you don't
Yeah.
say you're a cuck to a cuck. It's the same thing. Like,
Yeah. I immediately think less of somebody if they use that word, even if I thought they were like, whatever, a normal person, where I'm just like, where the fuck are you getting that from? And why did you adopt it? Because that's not something you grew up with. That's something that happened.
cuck.
That's a
Yeah,
choice, you
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah,
That was a
absolutely.
switch that happened, and then you had to agree to hop onto that awful fucking bandwagon. So
You were
what do you
35 when you heard that word.
do?
I kind of get it in some respect because some people are very simple, and cuck is a funny word. It's got two K sounds. It's like
Yeah.
cock.
They could
But
also have
this,
said like tuck or something. You could have made up any
yeah,
fucking word,
no, absolutely.
and all it means is the very thing you're trying to get across, you know?
It means jerk. It means lame. It's just like,
What I think in this case, cuck, because it came up from Trump. That's why, and I think it was literally that Trump's gonna fuck your wife was the whole idea.
what?
I'm pretty sure because it was
Really?
it was like a
I'm
alt
not saying
right
you're wrong.
something.
I just never heard this.
Well, that's all. The only reason it came from is Trump. the whole campaign and the alt-right and whatever. That's
Right.
where the word arose from.
Oh, the alt-right.
Because it does not mean, at least what they claim is, it doesn't mean the same thing as cuckold. Like that's a separate. You hear them talk about it as if they're breaking down the logic of, you know.
Yeah, right. That's stupid. Everyone's stupid. Just fucking just be
Yeah.
people. Judge people for doing other people wrong. That's all. I've never seen a point to make fun of anyone that isn't doing another person wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
What does it hurt you?
yeah, like making homeless jokes or making like,
Yeah.
just anything.
There are so many of those jokes that happen where um it is like the concept of punching up or punching down gets, maybe that's kind of ruined already, but I just mean like that's punching down on a level that breaks the definition of that meaning. You are literally attacking
Yeah.
people who have, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Why that?
Absolutely. Like it's yeah. It's so fucked up when people make homeless jokes. It's just like, I'm gonna describe what this homeless guy did. It's just like, yeah, how funny. A mentally ill person that can barely survive said something crazy.
Yeah, in a society that discards humanity, it
Yeah,
treats those people like they don't deserve anything.
yeah. And you got a 3-minute bit out of it. Congratulations. Like,
Also, the idea of people saying homeless to describe a thing where it's like you could be homeless. You do realize that not having a home says nothing about you. I've
yeah,
been homeless.
yeah.
Did it change
Me
who I am as
too.
a person?
Yeah. No.
No, you're just who you are, but you don't have a place to stay.
Yeah. But if
That
maybe,
should invoke sympathy.
yeah, exactly. And a lot of homeless people have like serious drug addictions, which it's like if I had ever injected heroin, I'd probably be dead now. Like, because
Yeah, yeah, right.
I've an addictive personality, and yeah, that would have been the end of me.
Yep, yep. That's why I promised myself I never would.
Yeah.
I literally said, like, you can't do this until you're 70.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an option, never a choice. So
Yeah.
just don't even think about it, even if it's the best thing on the planet.
I might have done it once by accident because we were snorting things and I was very drunk and I was just given a line and they told me it was heroin afterwards.
uh,
And I was just, all I did was sit on the couch and it made me feel bad. So I never
yeah,
really got a hankering for it, but I was so drunk.
yeah.
So fucking drunk. And it wasn't
That's good.
injected. And so I feel like that as
Yeah,
well. It was doing coke too, so it's like. But even coke, I don't know. I never got in. I've done
yeah.
coke. I don't need it,
I
so I don't
I
know.
hated it. Maybe hated's the wrong word, but I had it built up to me so much that when I did it after it, I was like, this is it? This is what people freak out about? This is fucking nothing. What are you talking about? But there
Yeah,
are certain people who it totally jives with their personality, and I get that, I guess. But for me, it
it
absolutely doesn't.
it's the same thing with like weed. There's plenty of people that smoke weed and they're like, "This sucks,"
Yeah.
and I love it.
Yep. It's like the
And
only thing I need personally.
yeah, and
I don't even
thankfully,
like drinking anymore.
yeah, and thankfully, weed is not something that destroys your life for the most, like for most
No.
people.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some people, but
Yeah, I could.
I'm
I wish, in some way, I wish I'd never done it, but I wonder if I would still be alive if I hadn't, honestly. Because I was so depressed when I was a kid, and then when I started smoking weed, I started having a better time around people
yeah.
and whatnot.
I basically came to that realization like 2 days. Maybe it was because I ran out of weed, but I was like, you know how you go through phases where like I'm gonna quit, I'm gonna do whatever,
Yeah,
and I was just like, no, I think I just need it.
Yeah, yeah. I
It's fine. It does nothing.
yeah,
It
wait,
just makes me in a better mood and enjoy movies and video games. Who cares?
yeah. And there's something like when you quit, because like you get this built up in your head that weed is the reason you're not getting things done. And then
Yeah.
you quit, and then you're like, no, I'm the reason I'm not
Yeah.
getting things done.
It's just me, as it turns out. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like one of the better realizations is being sober for a while and doing all of
Yeah.
the same bad stuff. Being like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
it.
Like sometimes at first you like work up, you're like, all right, I'm gonna get everything done. And you do things for like maybe half a day. And then you're like, you're just sitting there like, I'm so bored. I'm not doing anything, but I'm so bored.
Yeah. And then what ends up happening with me is like I'm not writing for a bit, and then I'll take like one hit of weed, and then it's like, oh, I just wrote like 18 new jokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it just happened. It wasn't a choice. It was just a thing that happened.
Absolutely. I do feel like we're definitely self-medicating,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't feel like there's a I've at least I haven't found a different medication that makes it better.
No.
Personally, I don't know. It's a it's yeah. It's hard to get your brain chemistry right, basically.
Yeah.
And some people,
Especially since there's no normal or whatever. There's just
yeah,
it works. It's working. We're
yeah,
going forward, so it's happening.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Also, it's I don't know. Like it's bad for some things. Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
being on stage super high is bad. Being on
Yeah.
stage
Unless that's the
after
point
you
of it.
yeah. But like also like if you smoked weed all day and then stop smoking weed and then go on stage, that's bad too.
Totally. You have to take like a hit 15 minutes before you go up, a
Yeah.
little bit of time to peak and then kind of like
Yeah.
ride that wave a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely got into that for a while and then
Mhm.
got out of that. Like you can't do that shit. It makes stand up worse, which is what
Yeah.
you're doing. It's the whole point of what you're doing.
Yes. Yes. And also it's like I feel like it's more about moderation. When you find something that kind of works for you, you
Hmm.
do it too much.
Yeah.
Usually. And you got to find a way to moderate. Like anything. Like I overeat too. I overeat, I overdrink, I oversmoke. I over everything because I always want
Hmm.
to feel better.
Yeah. I always think of it as like once you're getting in a train and the train keeps going. Like it's
Yeah.
just got to keep going. You got to keep until
Yes.
you go to sleep and the train stops. Your
Yes.
body's just like, hey, more, please.
More. Yeah. Throw more coal in the fire.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Even when I like smoke like enough where I'm like, I feel perfect right now. I'm gonna smoke another bowl and feel better. Then I smoke another bowl. I'm like, I am too high.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wanted to feel better than perfect. This was
I
a
know
mistake.
I definitely remember doing that with you sometimes.
Oh
I'm sure
yeah,
we fed off each other because then
yeah.
it's just like, more?
Super
Okay.
Bowl. Remember Super
Yep.
Bowl?
Totally. I do that a lot.
I mean, it's fun, but it's.
Yeah.
I
That's
think.
honestly when we did that, we smoked, I think, four kinds in one. And that was like the highest I had been in my life. Like I skipped going to an open mic because I was like, I can't. I'm too aware of my breath. I forget what it's like to be this high.
Yeah, for sure. And like, yeah, there's something you always forget that like when you smoke weed, like it feels like it hits you right away, like with the
Yeah.
full effect, but it takes like 10 or 15 minutes
Yeah.
for you to realize how high you are. And it's not like drinking takes even longer. So it's kind of the same effect actually
Yeah.
for drink, but like when you smoke, you could smoke like if you're really going at it, you can smoke like two bowls before you start feeling the full effects of the first hit.
Yeah.
And
If
then
you
by
really,
then
yeah.
you're just like, I wish I could think better.
Yeah. That's I think the upside though is after you've been doing it a long time, the worst parts of it are just like a plateau of nothingness versus at least when I've started smoking and maybe didn't comprehend it, there'd be like, ooh, I'd get a little paranoid about stuff, which that doesn't happen
Yeah.
anymore.
I feel
Like
like
what paranoid
I
about
feel like
what?
I feel like I don't notice the parent like when I'm smoking a ton,
Yeah.
and then I quit. Like I will notice that I'm not paranoid anymore about things that don't matter.
Yeah, I guess I get that a little bit, but I guess I'm totally with that. But I used to be worse. Like when
Yeah.
I first smoked weed in South Dakota, I was like convinced cops were gonna break in
Yeah, I've
because it's
complete
like South Dakota and the smell. I was just like, we're in a small town in South Dakota. They can smell it,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
the worst part is, I don't think I was that wrong. I think that was a possibility that
Yeah.
a neighbor could have said, "I smell weed." These local cops come. But anyway, so that used to happen a lot to me, that level,
Yeah.
whereas now it's just like paranoia about little bullshit,
Yeah.
maybe.
I fucking have you heard that Paul Tompkins joke about smoking weed at the party? I fucking love that joke. Wait,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
he's like, I don't want to. I'm paranoid about. I don't want to smoke inside because all of my friends are in here. So I'm gonna go stand on the street where it's safe, and it absolutely isn't. It's
Right.
illegal. Oh, I love that joke.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I have to pee.
All right.
So maybe we should call this here. I don't think we talked about a single video game, and that's fine.
Yeah. Super Mario Sunshine. Thanks,
Yeah,
Giant Bomb.
yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
It got
All
injected in by Giant Bomb. Here's a video game. Mention it.
right. Did you watch the first episode of their Super
No,
Mario?
I haven't yet. I'm
It's
going to.
fun.
I'm going to watch them all.
It's fun.
Yeah, I
Uh,
believe it.
this is the second. I'm gonna watch this once we quit and I pee.
All right. Enjoy.
All right. I've been Justin.
Have a Derek.
See y'all later.